What's up guys, it's me Lumos Theromax, and today we discuss something I thought was pretty straightforward, but apparently is a hot topic in DC. What is the difference and origins for both the Monitor from the era of the Crisis on Infinite Earths and the Monitors of the Final Crisis era? I also have my boy Wally West with me today to help walk us down this guide, as he is also a huge DC cosmologist as well, and it's always good to have another voice in the channel. Check me if I'm saying something crazy. Yo, welcome again to the channel, bro.
Hey yo, what's good everyone? Glad to be back on the channel for another video, and yeah, I can't wait to dive into this topic since it does need to be addressed.
So let's just straight up get into the meat and potatoes here. Let's give a brief history of both of these factions so we have a review for those who aren't very well versed on these topics. And I'm gonna go ahead and hit us first with the Monitor himself. So the OG Monitor is a very interesting character that actually predates the entire main continuity DC multiverse. He was one of 3 children of Perpetua, the mother of the entire DC multiverse, and he was wrenched straight from the Overvoid itself. His job was to govern over the entire positive matter multiverse and make sure no crises occurred between any individual Earths that existed there. This was put to the test after he reformed in the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline, where he died attempting to save the last universe from the terror known as the Anti-Monitor. The next time we see the Monitor is much later down the way during the Metal event, when he is finally reformed, and later on during the Justice League 2018 run, attempting to stop the terror of not his brother but his mom this time, Perpetua. And keep in mind, this is just a quick history before we get into the juicy comparisons between the two. And Wally, you want to discuss the Monitors real quick?
Yeah, sure. So originally the Monitors were born from the Monitor Mind, which at the time resided within the Overvoid. They were stated as direct descendants of the Monitor, but in the beginning the Monitors were dispatched from the Monitor Mind into our multiverse to contain and reduce the multiverse to 52 universes due to the deal with the darkness. There were once originally countless of the Monitors, but were reduced to 52, with one Monitor to look over each respective universe. So they ended up all dying in the Final Crisis event. So the major differences between the relationship between the Monitors and the Monitor, this is like a huge topic in DC cosmology, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, mainly due to Cosmic Armor Superman fans who overplay the Monitors in comparison to the Monitor. And the contention is mainly around the idea of which faction here has a greater significance and scaling, as well as their relationship to one another. But here is the true answer, and being the homies we are, we had to get you the facts.
Despite what many believe, the Monitor is basically the dad to the Monitors, as they were all born from the Monitor itself. During the Metal event, the Bat Who Laughed directly calls him the Over-Monitor, the original being in the Cosmic Seer, but this isn't enough to drive the point home. There's more Cosmic Armor Superman fans won't tell you, even if they read this entire 2018 run. Remember when I said the Monitor had to reform after he tattletaled on Perpetua way back when? Well, after the Crisis on Infinite Earths, he had to do so again, which is how he wound up later in the Metal event. You see, when the Sons of Perpetua are slain, they automatically reform in the 6th dimension. But where and what exactly is the 6th dimension?
Well, traditionally it's seen as the Overvoid, and beings who are reborn there take a very long time to reform. And their consciousness essentially sits in this plane in the meantime as their body is reforming. And enter the story where the Monitors were sent by the Monitor of the Final Crisis that spawned the Monitors. That was a lot of Monitors in one sentence, but we keep it trucking. Here is how you bridge the gap. The Monitor Mind from the Final Crisis storyline is the Monitor, and before recent times this was kind of speculation, but here are the facts and proof now.
Here we have the Monitors flat out saying they came from the original Monitor and the multiverse from before the Crisis on Infinite Earths, but one scan isn't enough to drive this point home, even though this should be a game over scan. In the Justice League 2018 run, there is a conversation between the World Forger, the Monitor, and the Justice League. The World Forger is a fellow child of Perpetua and a good source of information as a result, so please keep that in mind. the World Forger flat out just confirms the theory and says that when the original Monitor died during the Crisis on Infinite Earths, he reformed in the 6th dimension, or the Overvoid, and his mind was splintered, in which that eventually became the many monitors we are aware of in the Final Crisis era. Just look at the artwork here. There is no doubt this is indeed the case. It is directly referencing the monitors. And since they are simply fractions of the original Monitor, there's no doubt that unified, the original Monitor would be vastly more powerful than any of the monitors, even combined. In general, especially since we have him throwing hands with the Anti-Monitor for millions of years.
Yeah, so case closed, boys. I mean, after all, these monitors were slapped around by Red Hood in hand-to-hand combat at times, and refused to even really weaponize their powers. They weren't absurdly crazy in combat. They couldn't contain beings like Barry Allen or the Spectre to a singular universe. They had to feed off the bleed, and even then they could be drained super fast by using themselves to power their own technology. And not to mention, they were all terrified of Monarch, and which scales above them regardless, even if you want to argue it is their technology. Why would they let any of this slide if they could just solo the verse, as cast fans would want you to believe? As far as we know, the Monitor Mind was the consciousness of the Primal Monitor, aka Novu.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty straightforward in the current day with all the information we have, and feel free to comment below your thoughts and opinions on the topic. What do you believe after seeing the facts? I always love to see your guys' comments down below on the matter, and I do take honest criticism well, so feel free to type up some objective criticism if you can think of any. It's honestly good to finally put this entire topic to bed, as it's not even really open for interpretation anymore. Yeah, you got anything else you want to add, Wally?
Yeah, I guess so. Pretty much what I said earlier. They're bad in combat, but they do have really good technology. They have great statements and great cosmological scaling entirely, but virtually nothing on the level of the actual Monitor. These beings should have inaccessible to infinite transcendences above anything below them, simply due to the cosmological scaling. Yet they can't show any of that to save their life. And yeah, it was a blast being on, and can't wait for the next one. And hey, maybe we can have that 6th dimension conversation later down the way.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what'll happen, man. It's always good to have you on, dude, and I'm looking forward to the next conversation about DC cosmology, regardless of what it is, 6th dimension or not. But what do you all want to see discussed next? I've been taking a lot of fan opinions or fan questions and stuff like that and turning it into content, so you never know, if you type something down low, I might cover it. But what DC cosmic questions do you all want to be answered? Do not forget to tell me down low in the comment section, and I guess that's pretty much everything for this video, and we'll catch you next time, Lanterns. Later.